Do you guys remember that amazing little boy in the movie Romeo and Juliet in 1996 with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes? He was the adorable, beautifully, just magically delicious choir boy that just literally sang the most beautiful song ever, which was a dance song, Everybody's Free. And he turned it into this gospel hit for the soundtrack. And Prince actually allowed him to sing When Doves Cry, which is something that, Prince never did. So I'm speaking about Quindon Tarver. And luckily, I was able to locate him. He is joining us now live from the studio he is making his new single in for 2020. And also, he's got a project coming up in 2021. So he's joining us now. He's going to sing Everybody's Free, my favorite song since I was like 12 years old and saw the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack. So here he is. I'm joining right now. Going to add him into the chat. I'm so excited. This is Quarantine But Cute.
Hi.
Hi, I'm so happy to have you on. That looks beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Everybody's free. Everybody's free. Everybody's free. Oh, yeah. Everybody's free. Brother and sister, together we'll make it through. Oh, yeah. Someday a spirit will take you and guide you there. I know you've been hurting, but I've been waiting to be there for you. And I'll be there just helping you out whenever I can. Yeah, everybody's free. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, everybody's free. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, to feel good. Oh, to feel good.
Oh my God. Yes!
Ooh.
This is like, I have to say, I mean, selfishly, a dream come true for you to sing that song to me right now. And
Thank you so much. I'm going to come closer because I want to see everybody.
come closer. We had some people join the chat and then people like, come in and out. I have ink all over my hands. I was trying to print something. So welcome to the show. You are live in Dallas.
Yeah, live in Dallas, Texas.
And you're from Plano, right?
I'm actually from McKinney, Texas. I'm from McKinney,
Okay.
but I live in Dallas. Yes.
Ooh, Dallas is hot. I can't handle it. I'm from Atlanta, but
Yeah, it's got some sizzle here. It's got some.
ooh, I need a pool. I would have to have a pool and a lot of things to cool me off. I'm just saying. But listen, I'm so happy that you're here today. I have adored your voice since I was like 12, 13 years old. And, I think for so many people, whether they were, young around that time or watched the movie later and, hadn't been born yet, but then watched the movie later and saw you,
Right.
just like it says in your bio. I mean, it's an arresting performance. You stop. And so I think my first question for you is, you know, how do you feel when you sing?
It's like an escape from reality for me. Um, And not that my reality now is a bad thing. It's just like
Right.
it could be elsewhere. It is my it's my atmosphere, if you will. It's like it's where I belong, and it allows me to just exude all this love and emotion that's within me. And it's like when I'm there, I'm in my environment. I'm in the place that I'm supposed to be at.
And I can feel it when you say it too. It's like you just kind of like close your eyes and put your head back. And it's like a natural namaste. I don't even know if you realize you're doing it when you speak, but I
Wow.
think that's like when you know something makes you happy, it's in your body. It's not just in what you're saying, it's your physical body, right? And
Right.
obviously you have that. So when before the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack, before
Uh-huh.
it sold 2 million records, and then you went on to doing another record with people like Faith Evans and Drew Hill, I think you had Monica. I mean, you were like blowing up at such a young age, but before that, you know,
Yeah.
you were obviously younger. When did you start singing?
I started singing at the age of 4 in my grandfather's church. My very first song was "Yes, Jesus Loves Me."
Yes.
And I was 4 years old in McKinney, Texas, at the church I grew up in, where I got all my rearing, where music really started for me, and it was inside of my grandfather's church. Yeah,
Well, I mean, that's why you got cast, because you have that choir gospel sound, and that's like where you came from. So, it's just one of those movies like you will never ever forget, because you made your mark so strong that everyone's going to know you forever, you know? And I was just speaking to Django Stewart, who's hopefully coming on the show. His father is Dave Stewart of
yeah.
the Eurythmics with Annie Lennox, and he was 7 when the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack and movie came out. And he said he grew up listening to you.
Wow.
And he's a singer too.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. I don't know if you're watching, but I really appreciate it. That means a lot to me because you never know who you touch. You never know. And as a kid, I just was opening my mouth, doing what I loved to do, being in my element,
Yeah.
and you never know who you touch. Like I see this young man that says "Forever Young." Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. It's um, it's a lot to know that I've been able to affect so many people's lives. Because I've been through so much, and
I know.
to know that you're able to do that, that means a lot to me. And I had no idea. Like I said, at that age, I was doing that for people.
Oh my God.
While I was
Yeah.
through what I was going through, I was
Right.
being an inspiration for others, and so that's mind blowing for me. But I'm very grateful and I'm appreciative of that. I am.
So, also something, uh, I think people have seen Everybody's Free, and they also know that you did When Doves Cry, but by Prince. But let's talk about that, because Prince, as you and I have discussed before,
Huh?
Prince Prince didn't just let anyone sing his songs. So how did that come about for the
What?
soundtrack?
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit of the rundown on that. When I was 9 years old, I was flown into Los Angeles to audition for Hollywood Records, which is Disney's record label.
Okay.
Um, while on that audition, um, I met a lady by the name of Laura Ziffrin. Keep in mind, I'm 9 years old, and that didn't work out. Um, Life and the universe aligned up to when I was signed. They needed this guy to play the part of Romeo and Juliet. Laura Ziffrin happened to have left Disney and Hollywood Records, and she was at 20th Century Fox as the music
Wow.
director.
Wow.
Once she found out I was signed, she wanted me to play the part. She remembered my voice and everything. So I had to do protocol, but I pretty much had the part, but I had to go through the motion of auditioning and everything. But
Right.
she remembered me, and that's how I got the part in the movie. And at that age,
Wow.
at the time, I was 12 years old. So we went into meeting and production, and they were like, "We want you to sing a cover of Everybody's Free," which is, I think her name's Mozella. Mozella is the
Yeah.
original. And then he was like, "Prince is When Doves Cry." I had no idea what Everybody's Free was, never heard that. But When Doves Cry, I'm all about it because I love Prince. So,
Right.
um, so when we had to do everything, I actually did a phone call with Prince after the song was complete and finished. And he told me, "Job well done." And he loved my rendition of
Wow.
the song. And for Prince to tell me that, Me, like, I was blown away. I was grateful. I had so many mixed emotions because, like you said, he does not let anyone tamper with his music. So that just says a lot about my vocal ability at the age of 12 years old, that it touched Prince and he gave me the okay. That's
Do
amazing.
you think then that you understand the brevity of how big that was as a child? Like
No,
how incredible that was, or do you only now see it?
girl, I barely see it now. I mean, I definitely didn't then, and sometimes it's still hard for me to grasp my thoughts around, like,
Right.
I'm that little kid that here it is 24 years later, this movie, and I mean the soundtrack and the songs are still booming. Like, people were using, like,
Still.
you yourself, you used it during this pandemic and everything that's going on with the, the unfortunate situations with Black Lives Matter and police brutality. And I had several other followers and supporters that have used that song, Everybody's Free and When Doves Cry, as videos for their, using it as
Yeah.
their, I didn't think that. And it's like, to me, it's timeless, you know?
It is timeless. And the way that you did it, I mean, God, if I had a voice like you, I mean, it's just such a, it's gift isn't even the right word, because I think when, not only when you love something, but when you have the gift and you can share that and inspire, I mean, that's what it is. We're all a domino effect, you know,
Right,
everybody affects everybody. And I think we're seeing that now in the pandemic more than ever. Whereas before, with racial injustices and whether you were a white person that had black friends or not, like,
right,
that didn't really mean anything because you weren't living every day in their shoes, and you didn't have time, right, to look at it if it wasn't affecting you. And now everything's affecting all of us,
right.
the entire world. So music, back to music, that's what keeps us together, and
Correct.
and that's the conversation. And so when you have a timeless voice like that, that song just like brightens a day. It can brighten your whole smile and everything, and that's something that song still does for me. So that said, you are creating a single right now, right?
Yes, I am doing a song that's actually called Stand Our Ground in support of the police brutality that's going on. I had a cousin named Darius Tarver. He was murdered by police just days after he had a mind altering car accident. And he was out of his mind. Like, he was
Oh,
completely out of it. The hospital released him, and I guess whatever the injury that was going on with his head, he couldn't handle lights. He couldn't handle noise.
oh,
Like, it was bad, and they killed him instead of trying to calm him down and see what was going on. They tasered, had him down, 3 shots, one in the heart, one, like, it was just it did not have to go there. Like, they could have apprehended him. Like,
absolutely.
it was 4 cops, and my cousin, he was 23 years old. He's not even a buck 40 soaking wet.
Wow. Wow.
It's insane. And that's what that song that I'm recording, actually getting ready to do a video um, for that. And it's pretty much, it's just, that's my voice. I don't really
Yeah.
have that power yet, and I don't have, to get on the TVs and all this type of stuff and speak what I feel, but I have a voice. and
Oh,
and
you have a voice, and your voice is timeless, and people will know Quindon Tarver. And
thank
if they didn't know you then, they will know you now.
thank you.
And that's not because you're on my show. That's not because I love you. That's because of who you are. And I think that is, well, first of all, the power of the internet is crazy, right? And
Right,
and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. And I just thought of you that day when I was making the video, and I'm like, should I do this? Am I the right person to say everybody's free? And I'm using it over this sort of Black Lives Matter montage of all the horrible scenes of protesting over the years. But as a mixed Hispanic white person, is this the right thing to do? And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm speaking out about how we've all got to fight. And
right,
this is the song, Everybody's Free, that this amazing human being that I've adored since I was a child is singing. And it's the song that can bring us together. And I know everyone's like, oh, yeah, music brings us together, but it does.
it does.
And we've got to like get people like you out that are timeless. I mean, we need those kind of people to look up to. I think you're that kind of person. I mean, you've been through a lot in the music industry. They
Yes,
threw you away. They
right.
threw you away.
They thought they did.
And then you rose up.
Right. Yeah,
So talk about that.
I actually shortly after Romeo and Juliet, um, I I had was in the process of recording my album, and album was released. Things were going great, and long story short, I got raped at the age of 13 in the music industry, and I had shared it with who I thought was my best friend at the time, and she was signed to another girl group that was a part of the camp, part of the team. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Okay.
And she went back and said something to one of the girls in the group, and it just boom. And before I knew it, I was no longer signed. I was not with that management team anymore. I was shipped back to Texas, and
Ooh.
I lost everything. And not only did I lose my career, I lost who I was. Like, I didn't know who
Yeah.
I was, because that was devastating. And though I had shared that with her, I didn't share that with anyone else. So my mother,
How old were you?
when that happened to me, I was 13. I had just turned 13.
Mm.
And it was just crazy, because coming from where I'm from, sex was never something I was thinking of at the age of 13. You know, I was a little slow. I was a little green, if you will, because I grew up in,
Right.
and all I wanted to do was sing. So when I moved to LA, even just being in that environment, everything was so fast paced,
Yeah.
opposed to what I'm used to. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and you just got dumped right into Hollywood, which
Right.
is
Literally,
exciting, but you're a child. You need mentors.
right. Literally dumped into Hollywood. We had a furnished apartment on Hollywood Boulevard, actually.
Wow.
I was literally dumped right into Hollywood, and it was a new thing for me. Everything was different. Even though, like, we went to go get eggs. Where I'm from, we paid 98 cents for a
Carton
dozen.
of eggs.
When we got there, it was like almost $3 for a dozen of eggs, and we were like,
Yeah.
whoa. So, like, my life is literally in a 2 week
Yeah.
span. I was signed 2 weeks later, flown to LA, and my life had changed. And I thought it was changing for the better, but my dream eventually soon it turned into a nightmare. I went through what you call a nightmare, and I couldn't find my way out. I became addicted to drugs and alcohol, and it's only by the grace of God that I'm here today. I didn't know how to deal with that. I didn't share it with anybody. I was dealing with it on my own, and in 2000 and I want to say 7
Mm-hmm.
or 2008, I was 26 years old when I finally told my mother what happened to me. So 13
Wow.
years after that happened to me is when I finally said something openly about it. And even after that, that wasn't good enough for me. I was still hurting. And by 2012, I had attempted suicide, which landed me on life support for 17 hours. My heartbeat was at 1%. They told my mother it would be a miracle if he lives. And
Wow.
I'm here today, and I'm grateful for that, because looking back over it all and all the rehab and the therapy and the counseling and everything that I've had to go through and endure, I look back at it now and I realize that I had to go through that so that I could be an advocate and a voice for people that are out there that are suffering through that, to let them know you can beat it, you can rise above it. You don't have to embrace guilt. You don't have to embrace shame. You don't have to embrace any of that, because it's not your fault. That is not your fault, and you have to rid of that. You have to regurgitate those feelings, and you have to find a way to go back to you and love yourself again. And I've been able to do that. And like I said, and I will continue to say, all of that I went through, I used to ask why. Why did I have to go through that? Why was I?
Right.
And I realized that my creator, my higher power, that my creator knew that I was stronger than I knew that I was stronger, and that I was going to overcome it, and that I would turn around and be the voice for other people. So I always say that I was used to be used. And
Yes.
for people that don't understand that, when you're going through something, sometimes, and this is what I do even now, try to find the God in it. And what I mean by that, find the love in it. You might not understand why, but try to see what are you trying, what is trying to be shown to me, what is being molded out of this. And that's what I do for my everyday life now. I try to find the God, which is the love in everything that I go through. And if I cannot, then I have three choices. I can either change it, and if I can't change it, I have to accept it. If I can't accept it, then I just move on. And I'm entitled to do that for my sanity. So, like I said, going through all that and being here now, working on a new project and working with new people and watching the universe line up with me, and these people are just formulating around me that are the right people, and it's a completely different feeling than it's been ever in the past, like what I went through in the past. Like, I would that no one has to go through that. And if I can help, and if I can be an advocate, if I can be a voice, if I have a song that someone can hear, if my story even encourages someone, I just challenge you to speak. Say something. Don't hold it in. You don't have to use drugs. You don't have to use alcohol. There is actually people out there that genuinely care. And like, you don't have to. You don't have to live your life like that. You don't have to go through those things. So, yeah.
You're so amazing. You're making me cry. You're so beautiful. You're such a beautiful human. And I love that you embrace all your vulnerability and your boundaries are very clearly drawn in a really healthy way. So big up if you have a therapist, big up to them, because let me tell you, my therapist saved my life in many ways.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're an advocate of therapy, right?
I am. And counseling. Yes, I'm an advocate of all of it. And people say, you don't need to be telling these people all your business. There is people sent on this earth for certain things. We all play a part in each other's lives. And if this is designed and it is conducive for the betterment of you, go for it.
100%.
Forget what people say, because people aren't going through your journey. You have to do what's best for you. And that's what I had to realize coming from an African American background. Oh, black people don't go to counselors. Wrong, honey. You might not, but I do. It worked.
Good
So,
for you. Good for you for being that voice within your own community. I mean, I'm that voice just within just the artist community. I mean, we struggle so much because we want to live this dream, right? But
right,
the dream comes with a major cost. And
right.
I've sacrificed relationships. I've sacrificed personal family issues. I've sacrificed my living situation
Yeah,
for my dreams as
right.
an actor and host and chef and all the things that I do. And, you know, again, I acknowledge my privilege for sure. But I mean, when it comes to fighting for what you want as a human being, it is no easy feat. And you should be very proud of where you are, because a lot of people don't come out of it. And a
Right.
lot of people go to dark places. And if anybody, and that's okay, we're humans, I've been to dark places, we all have. But if
Yeah,
anybody's in that dark place right now, reach out to somebody, reach out to anybody, say anything, say nothing, just say, I need you to sit with me, right?
right. Please just scream in any way that your voice can be heard, but don't be silent. It is time out for silence anymore in this world. And that's with
Yeah.
everything. We can't live in silence anymore.
Amen to that. We are so over it. Oh, look, here's some beautiful nature for you. Um, so, so Forever Young says, Quindon speaking out about sexual abuse he went through helped me break free of the prison in my own mind. Because of what he did, I found the strength to fight, to live, and I will always thank you.
Thank you so much. Man, this wasn't supposed to do
We're at church today.
that. That means a lot to me. That's what it's all about for me. Like, I want to help others and I want to give back. It's not about fame. It's not about fortune, because it's destructive if your mindset is there. But if your mindset is pure, to help others and to bring them out, I just want to be a light to someone that's in a dark place. That's all that I want to do. And if it's through my music, like I said, if it's through my story, whatever it is, I do not want anyone to go through what I've gone through. There is a way out. There is life on the other side of the dark nights. I promise you. I'm a living witness of that.
I love it. You're true. You're true. I think that's all that matters is like, I did this show to connect myself with others and help people share their stories. And I love it. And I'm not getting paid a dime for it.
Right.
I truly love what I'm doing. I'm a manifester. I'm a connector. And I'm actually like in shock. Was able to find you, not because I didn't think you were around, but like, just the access, the accessibility of the internet, it can be a good and bad thing, but I like found you. You're one of my heroes in so many ways, and we're the same age. Your
Thank
heroes can be 2 years old, 70 years old, or your own age. It doesn't matter. And like, I knew we were connected, and I was like, I'm gonna find that kid one day. And
Wow.
then here it is. I found you. You were willing to speak to me, which was like step number one. A lot of people are like, "Who's this crazy bee trying to get me on her show? Like, what is this? Is she legit? Is she crazy?" And it's like, no. I love good people, and I love to hear their stories. And what you went through is something everybody can learn from. And I also started in the music industry, and as a woman on tour,
Right.
men treated me like shit. Like, we were hazed. I got kicked in the face with a ball on a tour bus, on the Taking Back Sunday tour bus. Not
Wow.
the band, but the crew was pissed that two girls from the label were on the road and took their junk bunks.
Wow.
And for anybody who doesn't know what a junk bunk is, it's the extra bunk on a tour bus where
Yeah.
people throw all their shit because there's not a
All
lot of space.
Yeah, we had that. We had that
So
on.
exactly.
I know
So
exactly what you're talking about.
so we got treated like crap, that we were just like in the way, and it was horrific. And the music industry has to change. And the whole, I'm not saying I hate men, I love men, but
Right.
there are certain men who want to mansplain to women and tell people how to push road cases, and tell people how to, tell women how to set up. And it's just, we're just kind of like over it, when half the time we do the job better than them on the road. And I toured forever with so many different bands,
Yeah.
and I don't need to name them all. You can Google me. Just kidding.
Come on, Google. Yes.
But just kidding. Sorry, not sorry, but not kidding. But anyway, so the struggle is real no matter where you come from when you are going for your dream.
Exactly. Most definitely. But
And so what you're exuding now is a whole new you, because you had to go through that shit, man. You had to go through it.
I
I
had,
was like, go through it, honey. You're gonna be fine. And thank
yeah,
God you trusted, right?
exactly. And I think I'm so grateful for a spiritual relationship, and and I hope I don't offend anyone in that,
No,
but
I believe in God.
I grew up in a very religious background that I had to leave here, and I had to find my spirituality,
Yeah.
because I found out that when I was living in the religious life, that I was living a forced life to do something that didn't feel right for me, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
I was placed in this, but it wasn't a choice of mine. I was just put here, and this is what you have to do. But as I grew and went through everything I went through and started finding my way and finding out spiritually that, hey, maybe that's not what it's all about. So, and the reason I say that is because sometimes we just have to find ourselves. Even in this time and era right now, and I'll say this, and I say this with a sincere heart, you're placed in a family that teaches you this. But the first thing you should be, I feel, that people as a child, you pick up on is love. It's organic, and you feel that. So if you're placed in a situation where you're taught hate, and you've been taught this all these years, maybe you should step aside and leave that and be like, do I really hate this person because of the color of their skin? Have I taken the time to get to know who they are as an individual? How does their heart operate? How do they feel about me? Or is your hate automatically defaulted based on what has been deposited into you that you might want to regurgitate out of you?
Absolutely. And someone growing up in the South, like, I've seen that. We've had a couple racial injustice talks on my show that were very much needed. And it's like, I can sit here and be like, oh, I've had Black friends. It's like, I don't even I don't even know how to even begin this conversation sometimes, because it's like, I've had friends of every background.
Yeah, me
And
too.
but that doesn't mean, just because I have had a Black friend doesn't mean I haven't been racist before. You
Right,
can't, as a white person, say, oh, well, I have Black friends. Yeah, but if you make a racist comment, you need to be awoken.
right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah,
can't use your Black friends as a barrier for your inappropriate behavior because you were uneducated. You know what I mean?
right. And I
And
don't. And that's one thing about me of having a huge heart, having a heart. Like I say, I try to see I try to see the good in everything. Some people, they really don't realize that they're being racist because this is what has been instilled into them.
Yeah, it's
And this
deep.
is their normal.
It's deep. It's deep. Even when you don't realize, I mean, my family said things before, and I'm like, I mean, my grandma was straight up racist, and I've had a whole conversation about that before in other shows, and that was difficult to grow up around. But in general, it's just like we need to be having these conversations. Black people need to be having the conversations with white people, and white
Yeah,
people need to be having conversations with black people. It has
exactly.
to go both ways.
It
We
does.
have to work together. Trump wants to incite, this like race war. And
Yeah.
it's like, you know, we
It's,
cannot buy into that. We cannot buy into that.
as
And
long
so,
as there's division, there'll never be unity. And that's with everything. And I'm sure we all know that. But we got to find a way, we as the people, because we have the power. They really don't have the power. If we all come together and unite, we could shape this world up. And it could be something great. We have to stop giving our power to people that need us for our power. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. Exactly. It's, there was this guy, and I mentioned this on one of my shows. He is on Broadway. He's a Broadway star. And he said, as a black actor in Broadway, I feel like, you know, I need white people, but white people don't need me. And that's what has to change
Right.
to be successful, to
Right.
be seen, to whatever, right? To grow on the ladder. And that's what we have to change. And we change it through the arts. I actually believe that that is some of the first ways we can change and
Right.
unite, and just little things like understanding where rock and roll comes from. That's black music. Let's be real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you look, I saw this chart and it was showing like white people music and like, and it was just opera, and every other genre of music came from black people. And you're just like, oh shit, people made me think that Elvis was the king of rock and roll.
No.
No, bitch, that was James Brown.
Right. Johnny
So
Brown, Little Richard, like way back when, it's just, it wasn't, they didn't get their props. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Someone took what they had, and as long as the skin color was different, then they got the props.
yeah.
And I feel like that's been done a lot of, like,
Well, we appropriate black culture very easily. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Because it's more fun. Let's be real. I mean, I'm from Atlanta, so for me, I
yeah,
speak a certain way because I'm from Atlanta. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just like the way our culture is here. But then now I live in New York, and there's certain things in Atlanta I would say that are just not like around all the different kinds of people that are just totally inappropriate
they
in
were
other
like,
parts. So,
what is she saying?
yeah, it's just
I'll be looking at you crazy because I have some family there, and my family, black people, they're country as hell. I'm just gonna keep it real. They're country, and yeah, I get it. I'm surrounded by all kinds of, yeah.
you understand. So okay, so you're working on this single. When are we going to be able to hear that? And it's going to be dedicated to your cousin, rest in peace, right?
Yes, it is. Actually, I will be shooting the video for it in about 2 weeks, and the single should be out within like a month. So
And so what genre are you? I know you've done gospel for years and so many
yeah.
different types of, sounds. What's this sort of sound?
Well, really, for this particular song, it wasn't supposed to even be anything. Honestly, it was just that one little clip that I put out because that was my voice and me dedicating it to him and me saying like I'm sick of this shit. Like this has
Yeah.
to stop. But I didn't expect the response to be as big as it was, and people.
Right.
I get more of this. So I was like, okay, I need to go do a second verse and a bridge and put some Quindon on it and wrap it up. And then we were like, well, we might as well do a video. And then we were like, this could be like the introduction back to your career. And I was like, hey, go for it. But this sound is really old school gospel.
Oh,
And
I love it.
that is not the music that I will be doing though. So y'all gospel lovers and everybody else that really likes this sound, enjoy it because I'm going to be doing what to me is it's soul. I'm a soulful singer. I'm gonna mix it with a little pop, and I'm gonna give you a whole brand new Quindon sound. It's gonna be
I
something
love it.
different. Something different. I can be me now,
Yeah.
unapologetically me, and that's what I'm gonna do. Because
Well,
people,
you earned it.
thank you.
You've been doing the work, and when you work on yourself, beautiful things come to fruition. So I want to ask you something.
Sure.
What is your favorite color?
My favorite color is yellow.
Ooh, that's my color of the year. Chartreuse is my favorite color. And what is something that someone or that people don't know about you?
Oh my gosh.
It could be silly. It could be anything. What's something that people don't know about you?
I like feet.
Did you say feet?
Yeah.
What do you mean you like feet? In what way?
I like feet. Like people with nice feet. I think that's really sexy.
I have nice feet.
I can't see your feet.
I'm trying to get it up there. You don't actually right now I don't have nice feet. I got a jacked up pedicure from 5 months ago.
You need to go get. Yeah, you gotta go. You need to go take a little visit. But you're in New York. No, you're in Atlanta, right?
No, I'm in the north of Atlanta right now. I'm about to be in Atlanta this weekend.
Uh,
But yeah, I'm in the woods, y'all. Look at this. I'm in the woods.
yes. You could
But it's
have
beautiful.
a kitchen out there and put some music and fry you some fish and
Yes.
chill. Yeah, I
You're gonna
like.
come visit me. Come visit me.
I will. I really will. When they
I would love
get
that.
all this stuff open, and I'm ready to go back to living life. Like I don't want to be controlled,
Yeah.
and I feel like we're kind of dealing with that a little bit.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
But I'm
It's
on.
for
I want to do. I'm ready to. I got stuff I got to do. Like I got people that need my music, and people been waiting for this and wanting this, and I'm ready to give it to them. So like, it's time to live again.
I love it. Do you want
But it
to
ain't stopping me. It's not gonna stop me. As you can see, I'm in the studio right now. I'm gonna get it done, honey. It's gonna.
Well, let me tell you, I know that you are because I created a whole show that I've been shooting now for 18 weeks and got signed because of it. So, like, it's kind of amazing when you can
Congrats.
tune out all the things and really focus in on your dream. And I actually think a lot of creatives are thriving right now because
Yes.
sadly, we do need money and sadly, we do need to work. But for those of us who can't actually go out and make money and work, for
Right.
whatever reason, like we do have an amazing opportunity here to create. And I think a lot of us are doing that. And it's pretty incredible. And I'm really like, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of my other friends who have created like news channels and like fun things on their Instagram. And I'm just like, wow, the content is a whole different world now?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of beautiful things.
Congratulations for getting signed. Congratulations, girl. Seriously, that's big
Thank you.
stuff. That's really big.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, we have to develop the show and see what happens, but it's for unscripted alternative programming. So that's not a reality show, and it's not like it's essentially kind of like hosting, but it's me pitching show concepts to big
Right.
networks with my agent. So I'm very excited for what's on the horizon, and I'm so excited you came on the show today. Would you want to sing us out a little bit with some Doves Cry?
Sure. I'll do that.
Oh, I just put you on the spot. He's like,
It's all. Okay. How can you leave me standing alone in a world that is so cold? Maybe I'm just too demanding. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold. Maybe I'm just like my mother. She's never satisfied. Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when doves cry. Yeah, they cry. Oh, they cry.
Oh my God. Mic drop.
Thank
You're
you.
incredible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for showing us a little bit into your world and coming live from the studio in Dallas. And we're really excited to hear your single and your upcoming projects. And you and I are going to stay in touch.
Yes, yes.
Um, and
Number yours.
and I know that you went to culinary arts school, and I'm also a personal chef. So maybe we need to do a cooking lesson on the show one day.
That'll be cool. I am down for it.
I know. I want you to teach me
I
something.
am.
All right, babe. Well, thank you so much. I loved having you on, and this will be up on the feed, you guys, for Quarantine But Cute, so you'll be able to watch it again. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you, Quindon. You're incredible.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Keep shining your light, babe.
Thank you. Y'all have a great one.
Bye.
Bye bye.